Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into a story that really makes you think about reality, about courage. Picture this. A young man, Jonah. He lives for 27 years in one room. No windows, no phone, nothing. His father, his only contact, tells him the world outside. It's just death, it's poison, people are monsters. But then, on his 27th birthday, Jonah opens the door. And what he finds is, well, completely impossible based on what he knew. So our deep dive today is exploring excerpts from The Boy Who Opened the World's Door. It's a really powerful narrative. We're looking at isolation, how we perceive reality, what fear does to us. Our mission really is to unpack the insights in this story and maybe see, how they touch our own lives.
It really does grab you straight away, doesn't it? Makes you wonder, what kind of world does someone build inside their head when the outside is so limited? And, the psychological weight of having your whole reality built on this one terrifying idea, it's more than just a story about a room, right? It feels like a metaphor for the mental traps we can fall into or maybe inherit.
Okay, so let's start with Jonah's confinement, how it began. The story says his dad, kind of a doomsday prepper type, took him down to this hidden room under an old farmhouse. Jonah was just 3. And from then on, it was constant indoctrination. Outside is poison. People are monsters. But here, you are safe in here. That was the message. All is learning. From books, never saw the actual sky. It's hard to grasp that level of control.
Yeah, and what's really striking isn't just being physically stuck, it's the conceptual confinement, total enclosure. Everything Jonah understood about the world filtered through his father's fear. Every single book, every idea would have been shaped by this constant threat of the outside. It really shows how fear, especially when it's presented as the only truth, it can become the bedrock of someone's entire reality. Makes you think, doesn't it? How often do we just accept narratives from, authority figures without really testing them?
And yet, somehow, doubt started to creep in, despite everything. It says as Jonah got older, he taught himself to paint in the dark. He built whole cities in his mind, which is, wow, an amazing act of inner freedom, really. But then came this moment. A crack in the wall his father built. One night, he heard something. Laughter. Real, human laughter. Alive, from outside. Not some abstract monster, but life. Right there. And the story says the question started getting louder than fear.
That laughter, it's such a basic human sound, isn't it? So unexpected in his context. It's the sound of joy, of connection, completely opposite to the hostile, deadly world he'd been taught about. I wonder what else could have possibly broken through. There's something about that human connection, that sound, really forces you to think about what happens when this deep internal story clashes with undeniable proof from the outside. It's the first real challenge to his fear, and it's something so simple, so human.
Right, so these doubts are growing. And it all leads up to the climax, his 27th birthday. After all that time, all the fear drilled into him. He does it. He turns the knob, the door opens, he steps out and sees not death, not poison, not monsters. He sees a small village, children playing, music, life, just the absolute total opposite of everything he was ever told.
It's a massive moment of cognitive dissonance, right? Just shattering everything he believed, his entire framework for reality gone in an instant. Just by opening a door, that internal world built on fear runs smack into this external world of, community and life. But then the story throws another curveball, something even more astonishing right after this. What was that?
Well, it's incredible, because then he sees it, a statue of him. And it says, to the boy who never left. I mean, talk about a twist. It changes everything. Your first thought is, who made this? How did they know he was even there? It completely reframes his whole time in that room. The world outside wasn't just not bad. It was aware of him.
Exactly. Aware. That statue implies they knew for a long time. They acknowledged him. So it's not just Jonah having a revelation, it's a revelation about the nature of the world he feared. It pushes back against that common idea that the outside is always hostile. Sometimes it seems it can be watching, understanding, even waiting, patiently. That statue is like a mirror, Makes us ask, how often are we maybe seen or supported by a world we think is just indifferent or scary because we haven't actually opened the door to look?
And then we get the full picture. The whole truth. Turns out, his father had actually died 10 years ago. Jonah had been alone in there for a decade, trapped, not by locks, not by a guard, but by a story, by fear, a fear that outlived its source. And the villagers, they knew they'd been leaving food by the door, praying for him, waiting for 10 whole years, just waiting. And the day he finally came out, the world finally welcomed him.
It's such a moving resolution, isn't it? So poignant. It makes it crystal clear that his prison, for that last decade anyway, was internal. A choice, maybe unconscious, but driven by that deep fear. not by any actual threat. The world wasn't the monster, it was just waiting, holding space. It's almost darkly ironic, really. The jailer was gone, but the jail remained in his mind. It shows how often the walls we feel are built by us, by the stories we tell ourselves, the fears we project onto the world.
Which brings us right back to that final line in the excerpts, that really powerful thought. Sometimes it's not the door, it's the fear behind it. That just sums it all up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How does this idea resonate today, do you think, beyond just the story itself?
Well, for me, it shines a huge light on the power of our perceived reality. Jonah's world wasn't built on facts, it was built on fear. It shows the incredible courage it takes to question beliefs that are, baked into your very being, especially beliefs you've had your whole life. And it also points to that possibility of unexpected kindness, of support existing just beyond our own fears if we can just find the courage to look. It suggests maybe the biggest barriers aren't usually external things, but the narratives we carry inside us. So thinking about Jonah's journey, maybe here's a final thought for you, for everyone listening. How many doors are there in our own lives? Maybe real doors, maybe metaphorical ones. How many remain closed, not because of what's actually on the other side, but because of the fears we imagine are there? What potential connections, what growth, what kind of welcoming world might just be waiting if we could face the fear behind our own unopened doors?